Hello and welcome. I'm so good to see everybody. My name is Stephanie McPhail. I specialize in helping people heal or leave and heal from unhealthy relationships. And we've been doing a series for the holidays because I am all too aware of how difficult the holidays are when it comes to relationships and finances. I mean, people are already stressed out because of finances, but then you throw in an unhealthy relationship, whether you're still in it or you have left it, and you're just adding another layer of discomfort and overwhelm, to say the least, when you're dealing with the holidays. So, this week we wanted to talk about the financial strain. So, the title of it is Navigating Financial Strain During the Holidays. And, I want to make sure everyone knows that we're going to be really diving in, whether you are still in the relationship and you're thinking about leaving, and there's the strain from that whole relationship and finances, or you have started the divorce process or already on the other side of it. But either way, now the dynamics have changed in your finances. Maybe you were someone that had easy access to money before with two incomes coming in, and now things are a little bit difficult. Whether or not you have kids, the finances do change after you go through a divorce. So I kind of want to paint a broad picture here because we're going to be talking about all of it. So definitely stick around. It's going to be about 30 minutes, but I promise we're going to give you some really great resources and suggestions for you to navigate this new landscape that you're dealing with when it comes to finances. So here's a question for you. Does the holiday season feel more like a financial burden than a time of joy? I mean, it's amazing that the holidays is supposed to be so joyful and so connecting, but it tends to be more stressful and overwhelming. You are not alone if you feel that way. In fact, if you have not yet watched the other four parts of the series, Holiday Stress Survival Guide, send me a DM and just comment survival guide, and I will make sure that I send that to you so that you can get the past trainings. We talked about the how to deal with new traditions, how to deal with the emotional aspects, all that kind of stuff. So today is really going to be really just focused on the financial part. So some of the common challenges that we have is that pressure to create that perfect holiday on a limited budget. We might feel even more pressure because we still want to have the same things that we've done in the past, but money might not be there as much. We might, if we're still in the relationship, we might be dealing with our partner who manages and restricts access to money in general, whether or not there is money available, or maybe they're not working and they're not contributing to the money aspect as well. Maybe they're taking money out, and they're not allowing you to take money out. Or maybe you're hiding financial stress from your kids or family to keep up appearances. Maybe you don't want anyone to know how stressed out and overwhelmed you are over specifically finances. So you're putting on a good front. You're pretending like everything is okay, but inside, every time somebody brings up something about finances or getting gifts or having to pay something else, you feel your heart rate just start to escalate. Totally understand. This is something that happens for a lot of people when they go through this process. So here is the goal for this training. I would like or hope that by the end, you're going to start shifting your beliefs about holiday spending. We're going to start looking at that a little bit differently. We're also going to provide actionable strategies so that you can manage that financial strain and that financial change that you have, and really empower you to take some steps towards some financial independence. Having your own ability to bring in money for yourself and make choices for your own finances. So let me grab a sip of my green smoothie. Hold on. I'm modeling healthy behavior. I teach all my clients to drink green smoothies. So here we go. Dealing with, stress around the holidays. Always make sure you're getting your vitamins and minerals from your green smoothie. All right, there we go. Woo! I always feel like Popeye when I have my sip because I put a lot of spinach in there. Anyway, so why is it so hard during the holidays? Well, there's this societal pressure that seems to equate gifts with love or success, and this need to get something for everybody. I mean, I even hear people talk about the fact that they got gifts for the kids' teachers. They got gifts for the mailman, for the garbage people, for the person they pick up their dry cleaning from. I mean, it's like they want to just go above and beyond sharing all these gifts for everybody, which is beautiful. It's amazing. But, we a lot of times we feel that pressure to do the same thing. We might also have emotional triggers from the toxic dynamics of the relationship. Again, the controlling partner, financial insecurity, whatever is going on. Or we have this fear of disappointing other people. We're afraid of disappointing our children. How are my children going to feel if I can't buy all the things that they want, if they can't get those special things? I don't want them to feel left out. All the other kids are getting the new Xbox or the new, toy of choice for the year. Maybe there's a fear of letting down your kids. So how does financial stress affect you? How does it impact you? Well, feel free to write some of the ways that impacts you in the comments, because I think that's something that's really important to share. But just in general, anxiety, guilt, shame. We feel powerless. We feel stuck. We feel like there's nothing we can do with the financial stuff that's going on. Maybe we have resentment towards our significant other, or maybe we're resentful of ourselves. Maybe we're angry at ourselves for quitting that wonderful job that we had, or not trying to level ourselves up in our career. So it really just brings up so much stuff. And finances are really associated with guilt and shame. And a lot of the times with avoidance as well, is that people don't want to think about finances. And then you come around Christmas time and it's like, oh shit, I really have to think about finances, because I really have to think about budgeting and all of that, because of the fact that I have to get all these gifts for everybody. But here is something to keep in mind. The holidays aren't supposed to be about how much you spend. They're supposed to be about connection, memories, and love. And I know you know that, but sometimes we need to be reminded. It's not about all the things that you buy for everybody. It's about spending time with each other. And we're gonna dive more into that. So how do you shift your beliefs about money and the holidays? Well, again, some of the myths might be that I need to spend a lot of money to make the holidays special. Gifts prove how much I care. I can't start taking control of my finances. It's too overwhelming. So some of the things, so again, we want to avoid, we don't want to think about it. The spending a lot of money at the holidays to make it special. Who taught us that? You think about how things were 100 years ago, and, kids got a doll, or, they got an outfit, and they got something much smaller. Nowadays, it's like people are spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And it's really, I mean, in my personal opinion, I think that really our society has taught us and really pushed on us the need to go and spend, because it helps the economy, but if it puts you in debt, then it's not really helping anybody. It's just causing more stress and overwhelm. So let's start reframing those myths that we have about the holidays. Memories matter more than money. I don't care if you're with kids, with family, with friends, but really having the traditions that you're creating, your new traditions. They don't even have to be the same traditions that you've had in the past, but starting those traditions, having those traditions, they're going to be way more fun than the material things, and they're going to last way longer. They're going to remember. I mean, I have little kids, but they get that new toy, and 3 days later, that toy's in the corner somewhere, and they've already forgotten about it. But they do remember you making cookies with them, or having a dinner that you've made together, or whatever. So the memories matter more than the money, and they actually really value the traditions over the material things in the long term, if we're talking about kids and even family members as well. Taking steps towards that financial independence can really have a big impact over time. So if you start reeling it in now, then you can start making big changes now. So if you stop making those quick decisions on spending and start really thinking about what you're spending your money on, you're going to be able to save money in the long run. And keeping in mind too, that your worth isn't tied to your ability to spend. It's tied to the love and presence that you bring to your family. So you're not unworthy because you can't spend thousands and thousands of dollars on Christmas. And again, we work with a lot of professional women. These women that we work with, they're doing well for themselves, but they might have been used to having more funds available to them. And because this has changed, because there's only one, or it's going to change because there's only one person bringing in money, there is that added stress. So this is not a negative thing against you, whether you have not been making money and been a stay-at-home mom, because that is one of the hardest jobs in the world, or you've been working your whole life. It really doesn't matter. You are still worthy, whether or not you are bringing in tons and tons of money, whether or not you're buying tons and tons of gifts for everybody. So how do you prioritize what matters? Well, again, focus on the experiences and the traditions that you can create without the financial strain. So think about the things that you can do that are going to be impactful without costing you so much money. So for example, holiday movie nights. In my community, it's kind of a cool thing. I actually suggest other ideas as well. And we get whoever's interested will go and connect with each other. But last weekend we did a holiday movie night. where somebody had a projector, they put it up outside. We all got together and watched a movie outside. We watched the Santa Claus, and we brought like, popcorn and cookies, and the kids hung out, ran around, had a great time. They thought it was amazing. They had so much fun. It was free, or the cost of bringing popcorn or whatever. So that those kinds of things you can do. You can do that in your own home. Baking cookies, whether you're baking them with yourself. I had a friend of mine where every year she would bake cookies with her mom. She doesn't have any kids. She wasn't married. And every year, her mom, I want to say her aunt, it was like this family thing where they just got together and made cookies, and then they brought cookies to the people that they wanted to share cookies with. And the cookies, you always wanted to be one of the people that were chosen, right? You're like, come on, I hope I've been good this year and I get some of those delicious chocolate dipped Oreos or whatever. It was always nice to have that. Didn't cost them a lot of money. It was their time to connect with each other, and they got to share the cookies they baked with other people. Another one is crafting decorations together. Again, this goes beyond different ages. This is all age groups. So you can be with your friends, with your girlfriends, get together and craft decorations together. You can do this with your family members, with your kids, with whomever. But those do-it-yourself types of decorations, those do-it-yourself kinds of things that people will really remember. Another thing is to set a realistic budget. Don't look at what you've done in the past. Look at what you can do now. What is going to be a budget that's going to work well for you right now? If money has been tight, then you're going to have to buckle in a little bit more. Decide on the total amount that you can actually afford and stick to it. Don't say, I need to buy one more thing, or I need to do whatever. Maybe they don't, if it's kids or family, they don't get as much stuff as they normally would get, or they don't get as big of gifts. So decide on what that's going to be. And maybe it's limited, or maybe it's nothing. Maybe this year everybody gets cookies. And if you have little kids, we can do some other things as well. Communicate your boundaries. I can't stress this enough. Communicate with your family and friends and be honest and say, hey, since the divorce, or hey, I've been, we're in the process of divorce, or whatever it is, I can't buy, I'd like to get you, whatever things I normally do, but I can't do that this year. Just be honest. Or if it's like a family, I had an ex where the family, they were Irish Catholic family. So they were a big, huge family. And basically, like, instead of getting everybody in the family a gift that would have cost thousands of dollars, basically everybody got, they did a white elephant, and they did an exchange, which was so much fun. It was decided ahead of time whether or not gifts were going to be gotten for small children. And if they were, like, at what age they were going to cut off having to buy gifts or feeling like they needed to buy gifts. So, explain those things, talk about those things. But again, you can have a spending cap, you can do suggest gift exchanges, things like that. Start by listing 3 experiences you'd love to create that don't cost much, or they don't cost anything. So an experience might be hiking in the woods, or, going to see some lights somewhere. I know where my sister lives, actually, even by me in Texas, we have some places where you can go and look at holiday lights for free. We have a community about 20 minutes away where they actually fight over, I guess I don't really technically fight. They have a competition about who can do the best lights, and people come from all over the place to drive up and down and look at the lights free, and that's a fun thing that you can do together. But, start getting creative. Again, the handmade gifts, the baked goods, photo collages. I remember doing that one year when I was younger. I took photos that we didn't even know we had, and I made photo collages for every member of the family. And those are still the only books, photo books they have, picture books they have. They never did anything with it, but because I made these collages, and I'm not super crafty or anything, but even just putting the pictures in a photo album, people don't do that anymore. So, something like that you can give to family and friends. Some kind of personalized crafts. Come up with memory boxes. So come up with some, notes of maybe you've thought about somebody over the year, maybe some little tokens that you've thought about from them, some little things that you wrote down about special moments. Again, maybe take some pictures and put them in there. People love that kind of stuff. It means so much. It shows that you've been thought of. And that is such a beautiful feeling. And it's something that you can share with someone that doesn't cost you a lot, if anything. Experience coupons. This is another one that's a really cool idea. So like I said before, a family hike, I always say that because I love to be outdoors, but a family movie night, or an afternoon baking session, or, think of coupons for fun and thoughtful gifts tailored to the recipient. So, like when I was a kid, it was always like, okay, back scratching. Everyone was like fighting over who's going to scratch each other's back. Well, here's a coupon on who's going to scratch, this is a free scratch someone's back, while we're watching a TV or something, like whatever your family's into, whatever your friends are into, have a little coupon that they can use at any time. And that's your gift. You can even wrap it up so that it feels like they're unwrapping a gift. And then inside you just drew this little coupon and you hand it to them. And that's what their gift is. And something super simple, super nice, and they'll really feel good about it. Shop sales and thrift stores. I love going to thrift stores. It's so great because you can go and buy things that new would be really expensive, but you can go to a thrift store. I mean, yes, you have to shop around a little bit more, but go into the nicer areas, go to those thrift stores and find stuff. If you're talking about kids stuff, we all know how quickly kids grow out of certain things. I think like PJ Masks, for example. My kids liked that for about 6 months each. And then it was done. But they had all these like PJ Mask things. Well, they got all these things and then we had to donate them. So somebody got to get those pretty much brand new toys that were 6 months old for a quarter of the price when they went to the thrift store. And I remember I've gone to a few thrift stores and I'm like, why did I ever think I had to buy everything new for my kids? It's so silly, especially when it's plastic toys, things you can wash, stuff like that. Such an easy, budget-friendly way to get things for people. And you can also be creative. That can be part of the craft. Maybe you get something and then you are able to paint it or draw on it or, do something to add on to it. But thrift stores are great. And of course, if you have a credit card, you can maybe use some of your reward points for purchases. I mean, TikTok was just doing and still doing if you share your link to your TikTok page, you get free money to use in their TikTok shop. I mean, there are people that I've seen that have gotten, $100, $200, $300 and have gotten a whole bunch of their Christmas stuff done specifically from having free money from people clicking on their link. I mean, it's something super simple. If you're on TikTok and you have that purple ticket, share your link with people and have them click and get some free money. All you have to do is you do have to pay for shipping and handling there. But that's another, just another idea of something that you can do. The most or the best gifts will come from the heart, not the wallet. The ones that are meaningful are going to mean so much more than the things that you bought. I'm a December birthday. Getting another Christmas sweater was not exactly and has never been something that I've loved for Christmas or my birthday because that's not something that's really thoughtful. But, somebody sees some cool little, trinket that they saw while they were on a trip somewhere. That's something really cool. Or like for my birthday, a friend of mine got me a pillow that's about camping because I love camping, things like that, things that people really know you. And they can show that they're thinking about you. Those are the kinds of things that really mean the most to us at any point in our lives. So keep that in mind as like, what are some things that you can be a little bit more creative with? I also want you to really assess your current situation. If you're in a position where your partner controls the finances, because there's some people right now watching this and listening to this where that's where they are at, start keeping track of your household spending so that you know what you're spending your money on. Identify any areas that you can cut out if there's anything unnecessary that's being spent. Now, obviously, you might not be able to control what they're doing. You can try to have a conversation with them, depends on where it's at. But no matter where you're at, whether you're with them or not, you're single, cut out any unnecessary expenses. Any of the times you stop and get coffee or buy lunch or do things like that that are not needed. What can you do to cut money and unnecessary expenses in places that are not going anywhere? I would always say, I'd rather not go out to dinner and go on cool trips. That to me is going to be way more exciting than going out to a fancy dinner that I'm going to forget about the next day. That cool trip, if I don't go out to dinner every day for a month, I'll have enough money to go do that fun trip that I've wanted to go on. Look at where your unnecessary expenses are. And, is there a place where you can maybe make some side money somewhere? Or is there, anything that you can do for a side gig that will bring in some money? Sometimes there are possibilities to do that as well. Because I know sometimes people are like, well, I don't buy coffee. I don't go out to eat. I don't do that. Okay. is there any place that you can bring in a little bit of extra money where maybe, you, if funds are not what they used to be, start thinking openly about what you can do to bring in more funds. Now, I'll say too, is that one of the side effects that we found when people come and work with us for the unhealthy relationship is a lot of the time people will start making more money as well. And the reason for that is because when we have, lowered our standards realistically by staying in a relationship that has not been healthy for us, we have also lowered our standards of what's possible for us in our business and our work, our ability to make money. So a side effect of doing the work is also getting, extra money at work, is starting that business you've always wanted to start. I mean, I just had a client last week where she was given a promotion and they basically were like, just tell us how much you want and we'll give it to you. So those kind of things happen when you can start speaking up for yourself. So, again, start thinking about those areas where maybe you have, lowered your ability or your thoughts on what's possible for you money wise, and start really working on that self-esteem and that confidence so that you can start maybe getting those promotions at work, or getting those businesses that you've always thought about, getting those businesses rolling. So just kind of a side note, but that's something that we notice a lot too. If you don't have a personal savings account or you don't have a credit card account, please get one. Every time I speak to a lawyer, that's what they will say that I should tell all of you who are listening right now. If you're in that process of beginning the process of going through a divorce or thinking about it, even putting $5 to $10 a week to the side will be helpful. Again, I always share, I would take a little bit of money and I would put it in my underwear drawer. Some people don't have that kind of safety. They have to give it to a friend. But start putting whatever, even if it's pennies, I don't care. Start putting whatever little extra money you can to the side, and that will start to build up. So, whether you're trying to leave and you need that money to be able to get out, or you've already gotten out and you're looking to save up because you want to have a little bit of that nest egg to be a little bit more comfortable, start putting that money to the side. So maybe if you would have normally spent $300 for Christmas and you can get your budget down to $150, take that $150 that you would have spent and put that to the side, put it to your savings. Open up the possibility of having that money started to be saved for yourself. That's going to add up. But you also don't want to be someone who ends a relationship only to have no financial background. You want to make sure that you have stuff in your name, because opening up accounts and opening up, starting to have or starting to put money to the side after you get out, if you've never had that before, becomes more difficult. So start really doing that now ahead of time if you haven't done that already. I've also seen too where people came from a very wealthy relationship and now all of a sudden they are not making anywhere near to what they were before, but the ex had everything in their name. That happens so often too. So wherever you're at, make sure you are putting things in your name so that way you can start having that credit history so you can start building your credit. So important to have some kind of credit history no matter what. And, the next thing is really to write down what your goals are for the future. If your goals are to become debt-free, start saving for that emergency fund or gaining full financial responsibility or independence, I should say. Start writing those down and then start taking action on how to do those things. Take the Dave Ramsey course, take a course that's financial literacy. Help educate yourself on what's going to help you to get to where you want to go. Look at those resources that are available. So, Dave Ramsey has you can read his book. That's something that you can do. There are workshops. There is, financial literacy. So there's books that you can read, budgeting, saving, start building that safety net so that you can start saving money discreetly if you need to, or even just save money in general. Get professional advice. Now, I do have a few professional financial advisors that specifically are related to divorce. So if you haven't spoken to a divorce financial advisor, I'm always told that should be the first person that you speak to. So even if you're post-divorce, speak to that professional financial advisor. If you send me a message, I can send you the people that I recommend, people that I know personally that can give you some really great advice. It's free to talk to them. So there's no reason not to reach out to them and get that figured out. But put it all out there. Again, we don't want to avoid talking about finances. We want to come up with solutions for finances. So talk to that financial advisor, have them tell you where you should be putting money and how you should be dealing with it. And of course, if you're in a position where you need legal aid, then do that. Another thing too is to remind yourself, this isn't forever. Having that squeeze of finances, it's not going to be forever. You're going to start making more money. You're going to start building up your financial history. All these things are going to change. Right now is what you have to think about. So instead of getting into this place of, oh my gosh, this is so terrible, it's so overwhelming, remember it's not forever, it's a for now. So how do you start protecting yourself for the future is really start educating yourself. And of course, building that support system, talking to your friends, getting a coach, family members, all that kind of stuff. Every small step you take towards independence is a step toward freedom. Financial independence is about reclaiming your power one step at a time. So, think about your freedom from this unhealthy relationship is also about being financially independent, not having to rely on anybody else for money to come in. That's going to be an important piece. So, again, the amount of divorce lawyers that I've talked to that said the women that end up doing the best for themselves post-divorce are the ones who, even if they didn't still have their career while they were married, they had the education so that they could bounce back on that education if the marriage did not work out. If we always relied on somebody else and we didn't have that education, it's not that it's impossible. It's just one more hurdle to overcome. So if you have not gotten that training for that job that you need, then maybe start training so that you can start getting that job that you're interested in getting so that finances can be a little bit better for you. All right. Does this all make sense so far? I know, whenever I do these trainings, there's always so much information that I want to share, and it's always like this 30,000-foot view. But I always want to share, and I always want to make sure that you get all the information that you need. And of course, you can always send me a message. And if there's anything where you're like, I have another question, or can you share a referral for me? Feel free to always do that. That's what we're here for. So don't feel bad about, asking me any questions. All right. So what do you need to do to be empowered moving forward? Because again, this is a lot of information. You can always come back and rewatch this, if you didn't take notes. But as we always say, you want to celebrate the small wins. Acknowledge every step that you take, whether you're creating a budget, you're saving a little money, or you're having hard conversations about finances. Those are wins. If you are someone that's a people pleaser, if you are someone that's trying to take care of everybody else ever, having a conversation that's hard is a great way to practice having any conversation with anyone, whether it's a future romantic partner or anybody else. Having those hard conversations, being open and honest. It's a great time to practice doing that. Talk about the money. The other thing is, focus on what you can control. Let go of the guilt of what you can't do. Let go of the guilt of what you used to do in the past. That's over. When you're creating something new, you have to be prepared for things to be different and for things to be a little bit uncomfortable. And think about anytime you've ever done something new, it's always felt a little bit off for a little bit until you get into the groove. So be open, be honest, get the support that you need, whatever it is, but really focus on the joy and the love and the experience of being together in the holidays. Or even maybe this year you don't want to be with other people and this year you just want to remove yourself from everyone. That's okay too. But focus on you and what your needs are, not trying to make everybody else happy. And remind yourself this is a for now, not a forever. And also just start really planning for the future. Use the holidays as a starting point to build a life in your future where you're more secure and more empowered. Use this as a time to practice having boundaries for yourself, is practicing having that budget, practicing taking care of your wants and needs, practicing speaking up for yourself, all those things. So right now, if you start practicing this stuff now, it's going to help you later on. I always like to share a little something of what you can do. So I've given some action steps and some things, but I'd like to share some belief statements or some affirmations that you can write down for yourself. The first one is, I am in control of my financial future. So we always want to have affirmations, belief statements as current, and they're about you. Not I don't want to. They have to be positive, current, and about you. So I am in control of my financial future. Another one is I am worthy of financial freedom and independence. These are things that you could repeat over and over again. The holidays are a time for love, connection, and growth, not stress. And that's a really good one because I talked about this I did a podcast interview yesterday, and I was saying to the person that was interviewing me, I was like, when did it become this thing that we had to go so above and beyond? But also, when did it become this thing that we put this pressure on ourselves to do that? Why did we do that to ourselves? Because there's nobody out there like telling us that we have to put all this stress on ourselves. We're literally doing it to ourselves. So this last one, the holidays are a time for love, connection, and growth, not stress. I think for a lot of us, that's going to be a good reminder as we go through this holiday season. All right. Hopefully that was helpful for everybody. Again, you don't have to have a big budget to create an amazing, wonderful, meaningful holiday, no matter where you are in your process of this unhealthy relationship. Focus on the love and the memories that you're building with your friends, family, your kids. Focus more on that than the money that you're spending. That's going to be the memories and the experience are going to be way more. And if you are looking for extra support or coaching, you can always send me a DM and we can talk to you about what it would look like to work together through figuring out any of this stuff. Again, whether it's a referral that I give you for a financial advisor or it's working together to build up your self-esteem, so send me a private message. Let's chat and let's get focused on creating 2025 as your best year yet. So you're not alone. This is okay. This is not a forever. This is a for now. We just have to start building everything back up so that you can be the best version of you moving forward. Here's my closing thought. Financial freedom and freedom in general starts with one small step. Little steps over time. So this holiday season, instead of choosing to jump into the stress and the overwhelm and everything else that everyone gets sucked into, instead choose love, joy, and growth over perfection. And know that you're building a better future for yourself and your family by making these choices. Your future is in your hands and you get to create it and live it the way that you want to. So stop trying to people please and make everybody else happy and put all this extra strain on yourself. And start choosing things that work well for you so that you can get to the goals that you want to get to, no matter what that is for yourself. So I hope that helps. As always, I love spending time with all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And never forget, you are way stronger than you realize. See you next episode.